Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you this cute little box that, as you can see, I've used Sahara Sand cardstock and the lovely Wood Textures DSP, which is actually carrying over to the current catalogue, the new annual catalogue rather, so I'm really excited about that. The gingham ribbon is also heading over to the new catalogue. We only have the Night of Navy, not the Smoky Slate one, but you know, can't have everything, and I do love this. I think it's so pretty, and as you can see, another one that's being carried over is the Petal Passion stamp set, which I love. So as you can see, I've just heat embossed this with white onto the paper and just added a little sentiment at the bottom here. I think this would be really cute just as a little gift for someone. It is only 1 inch deep, and it is literally using a sheet of 6x6 DSP, so the only bit of cutting is just for your tabs, and that's it. So it's a cute little box, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So like I said, I have the DSP here, 6x6 sheet. Bear with me 2 seconds while I just turn my page over and I'll get you the measurements. Oh yeah, so there. So yeah, so it's simply a 6x6 sheet and scored at 1 inch, which is 2.5 centimetres. So it's simple, there are no other measurements. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my scoring board and my scoring tool, and as I said, I'm literally, start from the bottom, start with my base, again 6x6, and I'm just going to score at 1 inch on all sides, and this is, as I say, this will be my base, and then I'm actually going to use this as my shim to score my DSP, which again is 1 inch. I always find this bit tricky, I don't know why. I feel all fingers and thumbs when I try and do this. So we just score again at 1 inch on all 4 sides, as I said, 2.5 centimetres, so it's a nice simple one. Don't forget to use your shim. Okay, so that's those done. Let's move this out of the way. Now, before I do anything else, I'm actually going to put my base to one side, and I'm coming in with my DSP. Now, I'm deciding which way I want the top to sit, because we're going to do our heat embossing now before we do folding and scoring, because obviously it then causes the paper to not lie flat. So I've marked it up so I know where the edge of my box is going to be. I'm going to go with Touches of Texture this time, because I love this, and I know that this is quite an old favourite, so I know that there are going to be quite a few people that do still have this. And I'm going to go with this lovely flower here. So I grab my block, I'm going to go with this big one. Now, I know that this flower is quite tall. I was just contemplating whether or not I needed to sort of knock a bit off here, so I didn't stamp it quite so high, but actually I think that would look nice, because then my sentiment will sit over there. Okay, I'm just thinking as I'm going along, or should I say thinking out loud. So out comes my embossing buddy, which I give that a good coverage of, because I know that I've just been touching this paper no end. Pop that away. My Versamark here, which I have recently reduced, because I do use my Versamark quite a lot. I do like heat embossing. Heat embossing and dry embossing with embossing folders I just love. Seems to be my favourite thing. I'm going to put this at a slight angle, and like I said, I want it just on the edge. Just give that a clean there. And then wherever I put it, my white embossing powder. And I have said this on previous tutorials that everything I use is current and being carried over into the new annual catalogue, so nothing I'm using now is going to be retired. So it is all current product, so you can still get hold of it all. So white embossing powder on the top there. Let's put that to one side, and then grab my heat tool. Now this does take a little bit of time actually, and the reason I say it takes time is because if I get too close, I'm going to make this paper, sorry, that was completely off camera. If I get too close, this paper's going to curl. You can already see that it's starting to curl on the edge, which obviously causes you a bit of an issue when you try and make your box. My secret to you would be either, as I have done in the past, use a chopping board, you know, a small plastic chopping board, and clip it so it holds it straight. The other option is to use a lower heat and just do it at a distance. Sadly it will take a little bit longer, so because this is taking a bit longer now, I'm just going to get a bit closer. It is starting to take, so it won't actually take long. Make sure I've got it all, yes, perfect. So that's that bit done. So it's actually not bowed too much. I'll just move my rubbish out of the way. So now I just need to fold and burnish those lines. Just obviously be mindful that if you do this straight away, that stamping, that embossing may still be just slightly damp. Just need to give it a minute or two just to make sure it sets. And then just simply cut the corners of your wedges. I love this DSP, and I'm so pleased that they carried it over, because they generally don't carry DSP over as a rule. So I'm really chuffed that this has carried over, because I think it's lovely. So that's that bit done. But before I go any further with that, and why have I not done it? On this box, I actually reinforced the lid by putting a square of DSP of cardstock inside. Let me just quickly grab some Sahara sand, and obviously because we've taken 1 inch each side, this will be 4 by 4. So let's just hope this piece is big enough. Perfect. I'm just going to go down 1 notch, so it's like 3 17/18 or whatever that measurement is, but either way it's just down 1 tiny notch from the 4 inch mark. It just gives you a little bit of wiggle room, as it were. I'm using fuse just because I still have some, and I know that it's on its way out, but I just like to try and get it used up, don't want to waste it. So I'm just going to pop that piece of card in there. As I said, it just reinforces that lid so that it doesn't feel so flimsy on the top. And then in with my fuse. Just remember, if you are using fuse still, when you do that flick, hold this tab, because it is only DSP and it may tear. So make sure you get hold of that well. And then you just make your box up, which I just realised I haven't done my base yet, and you that know how I do my lids, I'm going to leave that just very quickly. Back to my base. Yeah, if I do my lids, I generally put 2 edges together and then put the last ones on once the box is made up. But this is done in exactly the same way. Just fold and burnish those score lines and then cut your wedges out of your tabs. And like I said, I'm just using fuse. Now there is no replacement for the fuse, so you could use tear and tape, you can use wet glue, and maybe just hold it together with some mini pegs or paper clips or bulldog clips or something. I will more than likely be using fuse once I'm out of tear and tape, sorry, once I'm out of fuse. Just because I prefer that. I'm not a huge wet glue fan, probably because I don't have the patience to wait for it to set. I just want instant adhesive. So yeah, I probably will go with tear and tape. So yeah, so there's my base, as I said, and then I pop my box on, fold my bits in, and then just make sure my sides are straight, and there we go. So as you can see, a little tiny bit of bowing here from the heat embossing, but you know, I don't think that's too bad. Fits nicely. I'm just using the 1 inch circle punch just to eyeball and generate a couple of little notches either side, so it's easier to get the lid off. they just went all over. Oh, actually they're here on my chair. Get rid of those. So that's my box with its embossing and its lid. Cute. I'm now going to use some Pool Party shimmer for this one because I quite like it. Oops. And just simply, just slightly off to one side, tie in my bow, and you know how I do mine upside down, so let's spin it around. Just as Kylie said, I'm spinning around. And then, or you can just be like me and be all fingers and thumbs and just not get anywhere fast. Oh my days. I can't seem to do bows all of a sudden. I used to be actually okay. They were never fabulous, but I got by. And for some reason now, I just can't, I can't seem to do them. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. So, let's give that a little tidy now. So there's my half decent bow. I'm not overly impressed, but it'll do. Give that a little trim. So that's the ribbon bit done. And now all I need to do is put my little banner across the bottom, and I'm going to go with Blushing Bride and some Whisper White here. So my Blushing Bride, for my original box, which I'll just bring back in there, I used oh my goodness, Friday the 13th that I'm filming these. I'm surprised nothing's gone wrong even further yet. Right, so 1 centimetre wide of my coordinating cardstock. So that's that bit. And pop that in there. And then I'm simply just going to pop it on to my box. And then I just sort of eyeball where it goes. And I'm just literally going to use my scissors to snip that bit. So that will sit there. And I then have my stamp. I'm going back in with the same. So Petal Palette from the heart, which is there. I want my stamp pad. So I'm going with a bigger block because I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Let's move that out of the way. So I need, where's it gone? No, that's not the right one. Blushing Bride and Pool Party. So Pool Party is actually the bit that I'm going to use. Clear up a little bit because it's driving me a bit mad, all this mess. So I'm going to use just the word heart. Now you can either tape off this bit and then just ink it up, or if you're confident enough, I just line it up. So literally this gap here, if you can see there, this gap here will just go alongside my ink pad. So I'm going to do it and then I'm going to tilt it towards you more so you can see. So if I just hold that there and tilt, can you see? I'm hoping it's really awkward for me to hold this, but you can just see there how I've got that word right on the very edge. And you can see here I've just got ink on that last word. So I'm just going to stamp this down on this bottom corner here. And so I just have the word heart come out. I'm going to actually just give my Stamp and Scrub another spray because you need to make sure your stamp is completely clean for this one. So give it a good scrub, stamp it off a few times to make sure it's clean. Let's put the lid on this. And then you go back in with your other colour, turn your stamp round, so now I've got from the left, and do exactly the same thing. So you're going right up to that edge. And this one is hard to see because obviously you can't see the ink so well, but again, just there. And then all you need to do is, it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty much line up. And as you can see, I mean, this one is slightly high and that's slightly high, but hey, does it really matter? I think that looks really good. So that's that bit done. And then you just simply need to, where's my trimmer? Over here. So let me just move those for a second. There's my, no, that's not the pink. That's staying there. And what I am doing is I'm just going to grab a post-it note, because this piece of card is quite small, just because I'm using up a bit of scrap, because I don't need a full sheet for this. So I use my post-it note, and it will just help me hold this piece of card in place. So I'm going to go over here, and I've lined up my post-it note with the edge of my card, so I know that that edge is fairly straight. So I'm going to line it up with one of these horizontal lines on my trimmer, so I know that that's relatively straight, and then I'm just really eyeballing. No, that's going to cut the F off, so that's better. Perfect. I like that. Maybe a fraction off the bottom, but no, I'm not going to mess too much. Oh goodness, that was my scoreboard going. So that's that bit done. All I need to do now is just trim it a tiny bit there, and then snip and add my banner tail just to the bottom, which I quite like. Bring back my boxes. So I need a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of here, which is going to sit on my blushing bride, and I'm not going right to the edge with any of it, so that's just sitting there. And then you just need some dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop 2 on there and then stick them onto my box, which will sit just nicely across those leaves as I predicted. And there you have it, a super cute little box, ideal for putting either a big cookie in, or I don't know, a little gift for somebody. It would fit jewellery inside nicely, all sorts of things. Hope you've enjoyed this idea, and I hope it gives you some ideas as well with heat embossing onto the DSP to make your box. All the products that I've used are in the link below, and all the information will be on my blog. Hope you all have a great day, and see you again soon. Bye!